Hello, everyone, and later today there will be an announcement for who is making the MLB AllStar game as reserves and as pitchers. There are 23 spots to still be handed out for both the National League and the American League, added with the 9 starters, which makes it 32 overall, but we need 11 more batters and 12 more pitchers on each team to get to that number. So here are my predictions. I've thought this over. You really can't know for sure just because there are so many deserving players in the league this year, and other positions are more stacked than others. Trust me, National League first base is very, very tough to sort out, and I don't want to be the guy who has to make that decision, but we'll try it for today's video. We're going to start on the left-hand side, though. National League batters. And yeah, we'll just make it quick. We won't spend too much time on everyone. First off, we have Will Smith from the Dodgers. He will be backup catcher along with Elias Diaz of the Rockies. I've seen a push in recent days for some people thinking Ryan McMahon will take the Rockies spot, but I think at the catcher position, he's done a fantastic job this year, Elias. And Will Smith, he could be starting. Sean Murphy's done an excellent job, but Will has been right up there with him. I think it was kind of the appeal of the Braves this year, to be honest, that really put him over the edge. He's been fantastic, but Will Smith, basic name. That's just my opinion. Next up, Matt Olson. He is dominant. There was no better replacement for Freddie Freeman than Freddie Freeman himself, but he comes really close to this guy. And like I said, it's a very stacked position, so we are going to add not one more, but 2 more here, which this could be where I make a mistake compared to the actual ballot or the actual announcement that comes out. I don't know if they're going to want to put 3 extra first basemen, but I have to say it's a must. Matt Olson is 23 or 24 home runs. Paul Goldschmidt, last year's MVP, hitting in the 280s with at least 12 homers. And Pete Alonso, he was hurt for 15 days because he got hit in the hand, but he was leading all of baseball with homers. You know he's going to keep doing it in the second half. You got to see the polar bear out there. Now let's get to the more weak areas. Well, maybe I should not say that here. I am leaving off Ozzy Albies, but he is a definite snub if that happens. We'll go ahead and we'll add our snubs right here, because Ozzy Albies is doing fantastic, but Ketel Marte has had the bounce back I'm sure Diamondbacks really were looking forward to. He has been phenomenal after... He was good last year, but it was kind of average. It was not going to do anything to make the Diamondbacks relevant. They have to be thrilled with what they're seeing from Ketel. Now, shortstop in the NL backup, I thought about Francisco Lindor. He leads in home runs, and he gets a bad rep for his production skills. He has a really bad slash line, but he has production. And then I thought about Dansby Swanson, the guy everyone has said, oh, this is a weak position this year, but he is the best. But instead, I'm going to go with Nico Horner of the Cubs. This guy, pretty slick defender. He can steal. He's got a good slash line. Not too many homers, but, he's just... Anyone who saw him play last year knows how talented this guy is, and he has carried it forward, especially recently. So I think he's a deserving candidate. Outfield, this is another tough area. We only have 4 selections. So I'm going to do the obvious first. Juan Soto, stud. You need him in the game. I'm going to go Brandon Nimmo. He is a huge on-base guy, leadoff hitter, hits doubles, hits singles, and over the past few weeks, he has added, I think, 4 home runs in the previous homestand to make him That he's up to 12 for a guy who has 17 in his career. He's hitting nearly 290, nearly 380 on base. I think Brandon Nimmo is a lock at this point. Hopefully he's not overlooked in that. Next, this could have been a few other guys. I'm going to add another snub right now, preemptively. Nick Castellanos. I don't think there'll be enough room on the roster. I just don't. He was God. Oh, God, was he dreadful last year. But he has turned it around, and this could be a case of me just not giving him enough attention. I know the numbers are there, but I have to assume with a guy like Nimmo, you're going to get so much reliability in center field with Brandon Nimmo, and Nick Castellanos in right field he's not terrible or bad, but we have 4 spots here, and the hitting statistics are close enough. So I'm going to leave him off and favor a couple of other guys, one of which is Christian Yelich, having a great bounce back year. You could argue, I think that's 1 L for Yelly. Sorry, my guy. But I want to see the former MVP out there. He's having a great year for the Brew Crew. And then lastly, Lane Thomas is going to represent the Nationals. And you might be thinking, who is Lane Thomas? Give me Nick. Give me another snub for Fernando Tatis Jr. But Lane Thomas, if you look him up, he has fantastic numbers. He is the best hitter on the Nationals this year, far and away. Far and away. And he's a deserving candidate without being the Nationals' only rep. So definitely look into Lane Thomas. Give this guy a little look at the All-Star game and a little respect. I'm saying too much about that. But yeah, that's the National League hitters. Let's move on to the American League hitters. We are going to start with Adley Ruxpin, and maybe we will speed up a little because we are already at 7 minutes here. Adley Ruxpin, everyone knows the guy. I don't need to say anything. He's turned the Orioles into a first-place team. Next up, Salvador Perez, MVP. Never, but he's won a World Series. He's won a Gold Glove. He's won a Silver Slugger, and he's still hitting bombs, 15 homers, and he is somehow keeping the magic alive, even at an old age. Now, Vladimir Guerrero. Don't you wish you could say senior, but it is junior. Shout out Vlad Senior. You're the best outfielder of my lifetime. Next, another couple obvious ones. Looking this over, I didn't put a backup second baseman, and I'm going to stick to that. I think if they add a guy like Brandon Drury, it is not necessarily the right choice, to be honest. There are just other people who are more deserving. Wander Franco, Bo Bichette, locks, absolute locks. Now this guy is going to surprise you. Justin Turner, no one has him on their list. No one has Justin Turner on their list, but they should, because he has been a beast. He is definitely good enough to make it this year. His numbers may look somewhat average, but he has been rock solid. Definitely give JT a look, and when he makes it, you say I said it first. Now we got Kyle Tucker. For me, that's one of the best players in the game, always overlooked. Kyle Tucker's a GOAT. Dolis Garcia. Great player. He could have been starting the game. Luis Roberts. Got to represent the Sox. This man's been a tank. Absolute tank. And we left him off third base. I don't know why I skipped him over. Jose Ramirez. Should have been starting. And now go to Masataka Yoshida. Or so you thought. Doop, doop, doop. Masataka Yoshida was on my original list until I remembered the Oakland Athletics exist and they need someone to represent them. And unlike Lane Thomas, who is going to be there by merit, Athletics don't have anyone who deserves to be there. So our best possible option is S. Derry Ruiz. He's hitting okay, and he has over 40 steals. And that's pretty much why I choose him. 40 steals is, I don't think, like there have been seasons where no one, like the leader has less than 40. So I'll take it. The only other guy in my head I could think was starting pitcher J.P. Sears. His ERA is in the 4s. He's been a good, reliable starter, but none of these guys are all-star. At least 40 steals, you're going to put, you put that speed, skill, at the top level of speed in the game. That's something. I can handle that. I can live with that. But yes, we will add Masataka Yoshida to our snubs because this guy really deserves to be there. Also, to clarify, with Fernando Tatis Jr., I know he's talented enough to make it, but part of it is the players selecting who they think is going to go. And I just kind of feel like he's going to get less than he would have when everyone who's playing it clean is going to select or have a say in who goes. Why are you going to pick him who most likely cheated to try and get ahead? I don't judge him. I don't judge the guy, but I think that will play an impact, at least this year. And the players might want him to not be at an all-star game, come down to earth a little, have some humility. But let me know if you think I'm way off base with that opinion, and you think the players are going to vote for him the same as if that PED suspension never happened. Maybe some will vote even more. Who knows? My gut feeling, though, is that spots are so crunched, they're not going to vote for him, and that will be why he does not make it. So, we are going to move on to pitching. The American League, Framber Valdez should start the game, assuming that scheduling lines up. I don't know what his workload will look like going into it, but he is my pick, followed by Nathan Eovaldi. I'd like to see him go second inning. Big game guy, big game man. Just a powerhouse. Next up, Kevin Gausman. He's having a fantastic year. Followed by Garrett Cole. Can't stop Cole. No one stops Cole with Cole. And the Astros. Shane McClanahan. I think he just ended, or landed, I should say, on the injured list, but he's a really, really deserving candidate regardless. Maybe someone will get hurt, or no, he's hurt, so him being hurt will at least give someone else a spot. I don't know what I'm saying, but that's nice to think about. Anyway, next we have Joe Ryan of the Twins. He's done a great job this year. And here comes another one to throw you off. I had Tyler Wells. He's doing really, really good. But we axed him too. Remembered that Detroit exists, the Detroit Tigers, and thought Eduardo Rodriguez, if he hadn't gotten hurt, he's like right borderline anyway, so might as well give it to him. And Tyler Wells, you get hurt for your lack of rain. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for everyone, and I'm sorry for Orioles fans for hearing me disrespect your man. He gets hurt for a lack of name recognition, essentially. It's the All-Star game, and he's doing great for the Orioles, but there's just not enough room. Matt Harvey didn't make it in 2015. This guy is not, it's not going to break anyone's heart if Tyler Wells is not in the game. He's deserving, but so is Eduardo. And that's all I'll say on that. And our last starter, we're going with Luis Castillo. Welcome to Seattle. And then relievers, Felix Bautista has been amazing. Carlos Estevez of the Angels has been really, really good. Jordan Romano, Blue Jays. Finally, welcome to Seattle again, Paul Sewald. There's a little drop off after Jordan Romano, but Sewald is pretty much the next guy, in my opinion, and being in Seattle seals the deal. NL pitchers. For me, there's not a clear number one in the National League. There's no one who's like Framber to me feels clear. If I had to pick someone in the National League, my gut says Zach Wheeler will have the best second half, and by the end of the year, he's going to look really dominant in his numbers. But he didn't start the year great, so they're not going to use him to start the game, in my opinion. Could be Zach Gallen, who has had a fantastic year. I'll write these guys down as I talk about them. But I don't think he has necessarily been good enough to start the game to win those honors. A lot of people say Marcus Stroman. He's had a great year too for the Cubbies, but he's got a little thing going. He's got some type of small injury. His last start yesterday wasn't amazing. I think if I were to decide who starts the game, it's going to be Spencer Strider. This one is not really a prediction to start because I don't know if I feel confident in that, but that's who I would choose. Clayton Kershaw, the best pitcher of my generation. If you don't feel that way, you're wrong. Kershaw is better than Verlander. He's better than Scherzer. He's better than Sale. He's better than DeGrom as far as the career they have put together. DeGrom is the best pitcher I've ever seen in a moment. Like 2021, DeGrom, for that first half, was the best pitcher I've ever seen put ability all together. But Kershaw has been the best pitcher of my generation, hands down. Anyway, this is a 18-minute video, folks. We're at 18. Bam, you hit 18. We'll finish this off before 20. Promise. Okay, next up, we got Mitch Keller. Way to go, Mitch Keller. You've had a great year. I did not think you were the kind of guy to have a year like this, but you proved me, and you proved all of baseball wrong. So I hope you keep it up in the second half. Sorry, I put a really bad, crummy R for Keller. But keep it up. Bryce Elder. I know very little about Bryce Elder. All I know is he deserves to be in the AllStar game. So we're moving on. I will try and watch a game when you play the Mets. Anyway. Who am I forgetting of here? We are leaving off Merrill Kelly. That was who it was. Mitch Keller, Merrill Kelly. Those guys just get flip-flopped in my brain. Anyway, Alexis Diaz. Him and Felix Bautista are the two best relievers in the game at the moment. Josh Hader. And National League relievers was probably the toughest one. National League first base. There's just so many talented players this year. I could put a whole list of the snubs that have happened for the relievers. I'm just not going to. Johan Duran, Evan Phillips. That's not even the best guys I'm saying. Anyway, Devin Williams. and Camilo Duvall. Finish off my predictions. Devin Williams, I wrote that because we're over 20 minutes, but we'll be done before 21. Thank you all for watching. This is the All-Star list I have put together. We'll see what they actually choose, but if I do a good job, I actually called pretty close to what they do. Remember, you heard it here first. Please comment and subscribe. Thank you and have a great rest of your day. It's going to be a fantastic All-Star game. Watch the Home Run Derby. Watch the Futures game. Watch the MLB All-Star game. Tell people it is America's pastime and enjoy it. There is so much to like, no matter who you are. There's a story, there's pageantry, there's competition, there's athleticism of the highest degree. So tune in. Baseball is quicker than ever. New rules, new fun, new stars. And have a great evening. Peace.